Hi guys. Well, I was going to say we're back. Well, we are, but minus Harry. Unfortunately, Harry. Well, it's not unfortunate. It's unfortunate for us, but fortunately for Harry, he's picked up a nice little earner, a nice little contract. So he's not going to be with us for probably another 10 days or so, due to this commitment. He's actually working something like 16 hours a day. So he's taking a short sabbatical. So this week, stepping in for Harry is one of our awesome subscribers and has become a good friend of the channel, Robin Landry. How are you, Robin?
Great.
It's great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
So what we're going to be talking about this week is horses and the connection between, certainly in the language, and we've got some fascinating stuff to show you, thanks to Robin. So, Robin, how long have you been in the horse world?
Well, my dad's family were ranchers, so I've been in it my whole life, but I didn't have the opportunity to start riding until the last 7 years. And so I've been showing the hunter jumper world, dressage, and now Western.
What's Western? That's a new one on me. I know the hunter jumper and dressage. What's Western?
Western horses are smaller and they do like round up cattle, cut cattle. I do a thing called reining where you spin the horse, and it's all about showing off how well they move just to the reins and nothing else.
Okay.
And they spin and they twirl and they stop really fast. It's great.
You told me something interesting yesterday, when we were talking about putting this presentation together, and you said that horses they don't breathe through the mouth and they don't vomit.
No, they can't. If they eat something and they choke, they can't throw it up or spit it out.
Wow.
So they can do a thing called colic pretty easily, where things just get stuck in their stomach. So you have to watch what they eat and just be careful. They're very strong and very delicate at the same time.
Wow. All right. Well, look, let's get into the presentation, and we'll go through what I put together yesterday. If I can get this thing to work. I called it seahorse. Oh, hang on, I know what I've done. Hang on, bear with me a sec, guys. Okay. So I got it open in two different states. So I've got to go back to the top and make it big. Or try to make it big. There we go. There we go. All right. So I've used this word seahorse for a reason that you'll see when we get into this. And of course, seahorse. So it was Winston Churchill that is credited with saying there's something good about the outside of a horse that's good for the inside of a man. And of course, we're all familiar with this creature, this half man, half horse, centaur. So I got this from Robin. Robin kindly sent me this as an introduction. The horses at their core hide pain. It's part of their survival instinct. How Robin, if they hide pain, I mean, how would you know?
How would you know they're in pain?
Yeah.
That's different. It's very subtle, like maybe their tail swishing, their ears are moving back, they won't go forward, and you have to figure out by their body language what's wrong with them.
Wow. Okay. So you say they hide their discomfort and shut us out. Some horses then seem lazy and hard to get going or slow. Okay. They seem spooky. When you say they seem spooky to us, do you mean that it's like they're scared of us?
Not scared of us, but they'll be afraid of anything they see, like something different in the background. Maybe we can't see, and they'll shy away.
Okay.
Or kind of start dancing around.
Okay. And they try to tell us they're uncomfortable by misbehaving or even acting out.
Yes, very much like children, like a toddler, a child who can't talk yet. So they just cry, or you have to figure out what's wrong with them.
Right, okay. All right, and this is a copy of a book, or the cover of a book, Half Man, Half Horse, All Love. And you know, we're going to go into that a little bit more, because you say that horses basically are all heart. The horse has body language and posture. You move in certain ways that you need to when you're riding the horse. It's a matter of showing the horse the way you move. It's as much as a fine art as anything. Horses teach us how to treat children or people who can't communicate clearly. So what you're talking about here, I'm assuming, is that when you're riding the horse, you've got to steer it, you've got to guide it, you've got to try and encourage it to go in the direction that you want by moving your own body while you're on the horse, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now this is a depiction of a centaur named Chiron. Now, you know, on the last few podcast, guys, we've been talking about Chiron Last and his awesome work. Well, Chiron was a centaur, or occasionally a hippo centaur. Now, this word hippo is going to play a very, very important part in this. And he was a creature from Greek mythology. He lived at the foot of Mount Pelion, and unlike other centaurs who were violent and savage, he was famous for his wisdom and knowledge of medicine. Many Greek heroes, including Heracles, Achilles, Jason, and Asclepius, were instructed by him. Now, of course, we have the Sagittarius connection with the centaur as well. So, you know, are these things, you know, just fictitious, connected to the sky clock? Who knows? But the word horse phonetically sounds like horse, and there's a reason for that, because nothing happens by coincidence. Horse is also an anagram of shore, which is where we land after being birthed or birthed. The language connections that we're going to get into in a minute, guys, is going to blow your minds. So again, another depiction. This is another picture that Robin kindly sent me yesterday. So we come into this world where we must essentially sell ourselves in order to survive. At our job, we are selling our energy in exchange for money. Well, that's the horse connection. And again, I was saying to Robin before we started recording that, you know, this particular word, it doesn't necessarily mean what we think it means, because we just assign meanings. Look at the word gay. The real meaning of gay is happy or brightly colored. Yet, oh, it doesn't mean that. Well, how do we know we can't say the same thing about horse? So again, more old depictions. Then we have the language connection. Oh, he's a dark horse, workhorse, Trojan horse. There's a fascinating video. I think it's on Chiron Last channel about the Trojan horse, about what it really means. A horse is used in gymnastics. A horse is used by a carpenter for cutting wood. And when the kids are messing around, we might say, hey, stop horsing around. Horsing around. Then we have the mare and the mare. We know that the French word for C is mare. A male horse, without the E. A male horse is a mare. To control a horse, you need a bridle. A horse is kept clean by a groom. A young stallion is called a stag. A stag night is a party prior to marriage. Or mare age, the age of the mare. Horse connections are abound when it comes to marriage. Just another old depiction of the centaur. Now, this was something that you threw at me, Robin. I hadn't given that any thought at all. So, what is the whole? Is the whole to the complete sort of the reins, the bit, the part that goes over the nose? I mean, is the whole thing called a halter?
No, the reins are separate, and there's other parts of it, but the bridle is just basically over the nose in English writing, and just something that goes over the face so that you can put the bit in and hold the reins.
Right, okay. And the connection being that women wear halter tops. That's what a halter top is, apparently. And then again, this is awesome connection from Robin, that we nag at our spouse, and a nag is an old horse, basically, or a not so nice horse. Nagging can leave you hoarse. Nagging in a marriage means that your marriage might not be stable. I don't know what this is. He's a big dude, this centaur, holding a little dude. I've just thrown these pictures. These pictures are what a collection that Robin sent me yesterday. So I just thought I'd put them in the presentation. So then we have a bale, a measurement of hay. And what I should have added here is that if we're in a boat and we get water in the boat, we bail out the water, or we bail out of something. If you go to court and you might be released on bail. Cribbing, to chew the wood on a stall or a fence, a nervous habit that's hard to break. And a crib is a child's bed. A stall is the part of the stable that the horse is actually goes into, and to stall means to stop, or a place where we keep horses. Then we have lunging. To let a horse out on a rope and let them walk or canter in circles. A training exercise. A training exercise may be like teaching a dog to walk on a leash. Now, this connects directly back. The horse has complete freedom to the end of the lunge line. This has a direct connection to the last couple of podcasts that Harry and I did when we were talking about our free will and us being on a leash. If you haven't watched them, guys, go back and watch them, because the connections here are off the charts. A pony, to pony up enough money for the wife. And a pony in the UK, from memory, I think it's £500. If I'm wrong, somebody will correct me, but it's a sum of money. You owe me a pony. I think it's 500 quid. Rein, how you control the horse's mouth. To reign means to prevail or predominate, and a reign, a king or a queen. And we also rein in something, if somebody's a little bit out of control, like the young kids, you rein them in. And again, rein connected to water, Robin, phonetically. Right.
You just froze on me.
Oh, sorry, it does that occasionally. Okay, so once a horse is saddled and bridled, it's almost like it's become a slave to its master rider. If it doesn't do its job, it won't get fed or watered. The horse has become a whore. Sound, when asking if everything is okay, Robin hadn't heard this phrase before, but in Australia, very, very common to say, yeah, and the UK as well. Yeah, sound. How are you? Oh, I'm sound. It means everything's okay or good. And soundness in horse terms means that a horse has no physical issues, or he's perfect. We vet something when we want to check it over or check something out to see if it's okay. Vet is also short for veterinary. we put horse shoes on a horse's hoof that looks like a magnet. Horse's hoof is shaped like a magnet. They connect to the ground. A horse can walk up to 14 miles a day while grazing in a field. So, you know, we've talked about this before. Which came first, the horseshoe magnet or the horseshoe? What do you think, Robin?
I have no idea. I would think the horse came first. And then we copied them, or I think in nature is always giving us hints.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Because the horse gets his energy from his feet. So there's the connection.
Okay. Right. Can you tell us about cowlicks?
So they're called squirrels on a horse, and they're located between the eyes, and one right in the middle indicates an uncomplicated, easygoing horse. This horse has two high and tight side-by-side swirls, and this means this horse is super focused and talented, but challenging and difficult in the wrong hands. So this is a horse, if you were a rookie, this would not be your horse. And it's a chestnut, so steer clear.
You said that chestnut horses are probably, didn't you say they have personality traits that a lot of the other horses don't have?
That a chestnut will be more like a red-headed woman.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, I know that my daughter's a red-headed woman, so I know exactly what you mean there.
Yeah, get a bay if you want to be safe.
All right. Now, this guy's blew me away because everybody knows this particular nursery rhyme. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Now, when Robin sent me this, I assumed that what you're looking at below was like a second verse. But no, this was the original. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. 80 men and 80 more couldn't make Humpty Dumpty where he was before. But in 1797, they changed the 80 men and they put in all the king's horses and all the king's men. Why do you think they did that, Robin? Have you got any idea?
I don't have the slightest idea, unless I have no idea. There must be a reason. There always is.
Yeah. But, you know, to change it, and they changed it like, 300 years ago.
But I wonder if when they said all the king's horses, they actually were saying whores.
They could have been, yeah. Because you've got all the king's whores and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. That makes sense. Yes, definitely. But what are they talking about? What is Humpty Dumpty? We're going to show you guys. Yeah, this is off the charts. A couple more connections first. A water horse, a hippopotamus is water horse. And Robin learned today, before we start recording, that she's actually a hippophile, which means horse lover, from 1852, from hippo meaning horse and phile, one that loves. So Robin is officially a hippophile. And potamo or potamos means river from Greek, or they say perhaps literally rushing water. So literally hippopotamus means water horse. Now, why do we connect that? Because hippocampus is a major part of the brain. Remember, hippo actually means horse. Hippo, horse. So hippocampus, horse campus. It's a complex part of the brain structure embedded deep into the temporal lobe. It plays a major role in learning and memory. And it's, studies have shown that it also gets affected in a variety of neurological and psychiatric disorders. Well, that's a campus. That's what we know as a campus, a school or university. So Robin said horses react to our emotions. Do they tie into the emotions of the goddess? What goddess? You're going to see in a minute. It's all going to come together, guys. Why did they name a part of the brain after a horse? The university makes sense because it's part of the brain that stores our long-term memory. Well, that's what they tell us, but I don't think memories are actually stored in the brain. We learn to do stuff from our brain, but I don't actually think memories are stored in our brain. It's just a personal opinion. When you're thinking of something, oh, it'll come to me in a minute. I think they're stored in our aura, but that's another topic. So a gelding is a stallion that's been neutered. Neutered means castrated. Why would you castrate a stallion, Robin?
That makes them easier to handle.
Okay. And horses are kept in a stall inside a stable. Stallion breaks down to stall lion. And a geld. To geld something means pay money or attribute. This is a gelding, and geld is German for payment. Why would you emasculate a horse if not to pay a tribute? The connection there is a little bit crazy. And a foal is a baby horse still with its mother. Well, guys, if you look at the depiction on the right, Paradise Lost, you can see that in what we call Old English, the S is actually an F. The only time the S appears is when you have a double S, like in the word essential or associate. The first of the double S's would be the F, followed by what we know as an S. But if we replace the F in foal with an S, phonetically we get soul, which is soul. Then we have brood. A brood is a mare that's only used for breeding. A brood is a group of young animals. To brood, to think deeply about something that makes you unhappy. Having kids makes you unhappy. Mare, back to mare again. So mare, female horse of 4 years or older from the late 16th century. Formerly in the phrase to have found a mare's nest, meaning to have discovered something or something amazing. And if we drop the E, we get mar. And if we mar something, we impair the appearance of it or we disfigure it. Which brings us to the connection of Marduk and Tiamat. The Babylonian creation describes how Marduk crafted an orderly universe as human beings following a battle in which he defeated the goddess Tiamat. He commanded the wind to enter Tiamat's mouth and puff up her body. He then killed her with an arrow that split her in two halves. That's what the story says. Now, Tiamat was a watery, we're told it's a planet, but it was allegedly a watery planet. And some people have said that the destruction of Tiamat actually resulted in the biblical flood. And Mar means to destroy, and then you have mare, the female horse, whore, which Robin says she believes connects to the goddess. And I can see that connection. It appears that the animal, that the horse, is the animal that represents the goddess most closely. Mar means to disfigure, destroy the quality of something. And Duke is the highest hereditary title, or to fight with fists. Now, Robin, do you want to comment on that Duke that you were telling me earlier?
If a prince has a son, he could make him a duke because a prince can't make his son a prince. The highest he can be is a duke. And so Marduk would literally mean a disfigured duke or the son of a prince.
Wow.
So who is the prince?
Yeah, who is the prince? Nightmare. Now you said that that it actually means night water.
Or if you put it in mare and you connect it to the goddess, you could say the night of the destruction of the goddess, like the night, that's the worst thing that's ever happened. That's a nightmare.
Well,
the flood.
Yeah. There's the flood connection again. So nightmare or nightmare, Marduk.
Yes, again.
The connection.
So was he related to the goddess? Him being Mare, was he related to the primordial goddess?
Wow. Wow. I mean, these connections are not coincidental. I mean, nothing in this realm, it happens by chance or by coincidence. But, you know, does Humpty Dumpty having a great fall, does Humpty Dumpty represent Tiamat?
I've always thought so. And wait, stop at that picture. Do you see that Marduk is trying to kill Tiamat, which looks like a dragon, and dragons look like horses, and horses will act like a dragon. A stallion will. He'll put his head down and snort like a dragon, and
Wow.
they look like.
You talk, yeah, talk. I can see you're talking about the picture on the right. Ancient Mesopotamian religion.
Yes.
Religions of the ancient Near East.
Goddess.
Yeah, so the guy would be Marduk, and this depiction here of what looks like a winged horse or a dragon would be Tiamat, which would be Humpty Dumpty. You know, we're told that these planets are circular, and you know you would have there's an obvious connection when you think about it. There's an obvious connection between what would have been Tiamat and the shape of Humpty Dumpty. So they're telling us, guys. They've been telling us all the time. Whether or not it's factual or whether or not it's just esoterical, which in most cases it is esoteric. Like when we get to the, let me just scroll back up to the depiction of Sagittarius, Chiron. You know, this is esoteric knowledge. With, you know, this connects again to the as above, so below cliche that we hear so much about. So yeah. So what do you think, guys? Comments are welcome as usual. We always give you guys credit for your awesome comments that you throw at us. Comes up with some great ideas, and to be honest, guys, it's how Robin and I kind of got together on this, because of some of the comments that Robin was putting in the comments section. So give us your thoughts, guys, and we'll see you all next time. Robin, thank you so much for joining us. Don't go away. I'll stop the recording and we'll continue chatting. But thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure having all this knowledge and being able to make all these connections. So, do you want to say bye to everyone?
Thank you for having me, Nigel. It's been fun.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you. Cheers, guys. We'll see you on the next one.